My beloved, you have stumbled. My child, you have fallen. After a long and hopeful season of forward momentum, of climbing, of making beautiful progress on the mountain of your dreams, you have experienced a great and painful setback. The ground has given way beneath you, and you have tumbled backward, further down the mountain than you ever thought possible, landing bruised and broken in a place of profound humiliation and defeat. You have looked at the ground you have lost, at the progress that has been so utterly erased, and your heart has been filled with a despair so deep it has felt final. They, the world, have witnessed your fall. They have seen you disappear from the heights you had attained, and with their short-sighted human logic, they have concluded that your climb is over, that your potential has been spent, that your story has become a cautionary tale of a great and tragic failure. And you, my beloved, sitting in the dust of your own setback, the bitter taste of defeat in your mouth, you have begun to believe them. You have begun to believe that the game is over, that you have lost, but you have profoundly misunderstood the nature of the story you are in, and you have underestimated the magnificent, redemptive creativity of its author. For I am here to tell you, my precious child, that what you have experienced as a devastating setback, I am about to use as the very launching pad for your most glorious and magnificent comeback. I know the anatomy of your humiliation, my beloved, for I have been with you in every agonizing moment of it. A setback is a unique and a particularly cruel kind of pain. It is not simply a failure to begin. It is a failure after you have already begun to succeed. It is the pain of having tasted progress, only to have it snatched away. It is the sorrow of having seen the promised land from the mountaintop, only to find yourself cast back down into the wilderness. This experience of reversal, of losing the ground you had so faithfully, so painstakingly gained, is a source of profound discouragement. It whispers to your soul that your efforts were in vain, that your progress was an illusion, that you are destined not for the heights, but for the valleys. Perhaps your setback has been in your career. You had worked so hard, you had been so faithful, you had attained a position of influence, a provision, of purpose. And then, in a moment, through an injustice, a betrayal, a mistake, a changing economy was all taken away, and you have found yourself back at the very beginning. Your confidence shattered, your reputation tarnished, your future uncertain, and you have looked upon this ruin and have believed that you can never rebuild, that your best days are now a memory. Perhaps your setback has been in a cherished relationship. You have poured your heart, your love, your very soul into another, and for a season. It was a thing of beauty, of connection, of joy. And then it was broken, and you have been left with the wreckage of a shared life, the ghosts of a happy past, and a heart so wounded you have feared you could never love or trust again. This is a setback of the deepest kind, for it touches the very core of your being. Or perhaps your setback has been a spiritual one. My child, after a season of beautiful growth, of deep intimacy with me, of victory over an old sin, you have stumbled. You have fallen back into an old pattern, an old weakness, an old fear. And the shame of this spiritual setback has been immense. You have believed that you have disappointed me so profoundly that my favor has been withdrawn, that you have lost all the spiritual ground you had gained, that you are back in the prison from which you thought you had been set free. Whatever its form, my beloved, the experience has been one of profound humiliation. There is the public humiliation, the shame of being seen by others in your fallen state. You have felt the eyes of the world upon you, and you have seen in them a mixture of pity and perhaps a secret, subtle satisfaction. For the world, in its brokenness, is often threatened by the success of others, and it sometimes finds a strange and sorrowful comfort in witnessing another's fall. You have felt their judgments. You have heard their whispers, and it has been like salt in your already deep and painful wound. But even greater than the public humiliation has been the private one, the relentless condemnation of your own inner critic. That voice has replayed your every mistake, has magnified your every flaw, has tormented you with an endless litany of if-onlys. It has told you that you are a fool, that you are a failure, that you are finished. And in the loneliness of your own heart, you have been unable to silence this cruel and merciless voice. And so, you have come to a place of profound despair. You have come to believe that the game is indeed over. You have looked at the finality of your setback, and you have concluded that a comeback is impossible. Your will to fight has been broken. Your hope for a different future has been extinguished, and you have resigned yourself to a life lived in the shadow of this great and defining failure. A life of quiet, shame-filled obscurity. But I have come to you now, my precious child, as you sit in the ashes of your setback. And I have come to you as the divine author, the one who specializes in stories that seem to be over. I am the God of the second act, the master of the glorious reversal, the author of the greatest comeback stories the universe has ever known. And I look upon the very scene that has caused you such despair, and I do not see an ending. I see the most dramatic, the most powerful, the most glorious plot twist imaginable. I see the perfect setup for a magnificent and an unexpected triumph. You have believed that your setback was your undoing. But in my hands, my beloved, your setback will become your making. You have believed it to be your greatest tragedy. But in my redemptive story, it will be transformed into your greatest testimony. You have believed it to be the source of your greatest shame, but I will make it the very source of a new and a more profound glory. This is my promise to you, my child. This is not the end of your story. This is merely the end of a chapter, and the new chapter that is about to begin, the chapter of your magnificent comeback, will be more glorious, more powerful, and more beautiful than any you have yet known. For it will be a chapter that is written not by your own strength, but by my own supernatural, restorative, and all-powerful grace. Do not be afraid. Your setback is not your final word, for I am turning it, even now, into your magnificent, glorious, and certain comeback. Yes, my precious child, as you sit in the sorrowful ashes of what you have perceived to be your great and final defeat. As you mourn the loss of the ground you have so painfully surrendered, let me now lift your gaze from the battlefield of your own experience and reveal to you the magnificent, eternal perspective of your divine author. For you have been reading your own story with the eyes of the world, a world that understands only linear progress, a world that sees any reversal as a failure, any setback as an ending. But you have not yet understood the genre in which I specialize, the kind of stories that I, your God, most delight in writing. You must know this, my beloved, for it will change everything. I am the author of comeback stories. I am the God who specializes in the magnificent, the unexpected, the glorious reversal, and what you have seen as your ultimate defeat, I see as the perfect, most dramatic, and most powerful setup for your magnificent and certain comeback. The world loves a simple story of unbroken success. It celebrates the hero who never stumbles, the kingdom that never falters. But I tell you, my child, that is a shallow story, a tale that lacks the profound depth, the breathtaking drama, the magnificent glory of a true redemption story. The greatest stories, the ones that are told for all of eternity, are not the stories of an easy victory. They are the stories of a hero who was knocked down, who was defeated, who was left for dead, and who then, by a power beyond their own, rose again to claim a victory far more glorious than any they could have achieved without the fall. They are the stories of a kingdom that was on the verge of being conquered, only to see the tide of the battle turn in a miraculous and an unexpected way, leading to a triumph that brought all the greater glory to its king. This, my child, this is the kind of story I am writing with your life. You have looked upon your setback as a tragic deviation from the plot. But I, your author, I have seen it all along as an essential plot point, a necessary and magnificent turning of the narrative. For in your setback, a beautiful and powerful new dynamic has been introduced into your story. Your own strength has been proven insufficient. Your own wisdom has been shown to be flawed. Your own plans have crumbled to dust. And this, my child, which has felt like your greatest tragedy, is, in truth, your most magnificent opportunity. For you have now been brought to a place of beautiful, humble, and complete dependence on me. And it is in this very place, the place of your acknowledged weakness, the place of your surrendered self-reliance, that my own divine power can now enter your story as a true hero, the true victor, the true and only source of your magnificent comeback, what you have called a setback. My beloved, I call a setup. The very circumstances that have caused you such shame are the very circumstances that I will now use to display my glory in your life as never before. Your loss of your earthly security has been the necessary setup for you to discover that I am your true and unshakable foundation. Your failure in your own strength has been the perfect setup for you to experience the magnificent reality of my all-sufficient grace. Your humiliation before the world has been the perfect setup for me to now lift you up, to honor you, to vindicate you in a way that will leave them in a state of silent, astonished awe. I am a God who loves to take the foolish things of the world to shame the wise, the weak things of the world to shame the strong. And I have taken your setback, my child, your moment of profound weakness and foolishness in the eyes of the world, and I am using it as the very stage upon which I will now display my own magnificent wisdom, my own glorious strength. I, as author of your story, I delight in the unexpected triumph, a story where the hero is always strong, always winning, is a predictable and a boring story, but a story where the hero is down, where all hope seems lost, where the enemy is celebrating its apparent victory. And then, in a sudden and glorious turn of events, a new power enters the scene, a new hope dawns, and the hero rises to claim an impossible victory that, my child, is a story that captivates the heart, that inspires faith, that brings a profound and a lasting glory to its author. And this is a story I am writing with you. The world has already written you off. The enemy believes he has won. And this, my beloved, this is the perfect moment for your magnificent comeback to begin. Let this new perspective begin to heal your heart. My precious one, let go of your own reading of your story, a reading that has been colored by the world's limited and tragic view, and embrace my own divine, authorial intent. Your story is not a tragedy. It is a divine and a glorious comeback story. And the setback you have endured has not been your defeat. It has been the perfect, necessary, and magnificent setup for your greatest triumph. Trust me, your author. I know the plot. I see the final chapter. And I promise you, it is a chapter of such magnificent victory, such glorious restoration, such profound and beautiful redemption that it will make the memory of your present setback seem like a small and distant shadow in the light of your new and triumphant dawn. You are not a failure. My child, you are the beloved hero of my greatest comeback story yet, and the turning of the page, the beginning of your magnificent return, is at hand. And so, my cherished child, as you begin to embrace the magnificent, hope-filled truth that I am the author of comeback stories, and that I see your setback not as a defeat, but as a divine setup, let us now explore the profound and loving purpose of this painful reversal. For I know that your heart, while it may be stirring with a new hope, still carries the profound sting of humiliation, the ache of lost ground, the confusing sorrow of a journey that has gone backward. You have wondered, if you are a loving and a powerful God, why did you allow this to happen? Why this retreat? Why this defeat? I hear the cry of your heart, my beloved, and I am here to reveal to you the magnificent, hidden strategy of my love for what is felt to you like a rout, a catastrophic defeat, has been, in my all-seeing wisdom, a sacred and strategic retreat, a purposeful move designed to expose the true enemy, to dismantle your own flawed foundations, and to position you for a new and far more glorious advance than any you could have achieved from your former position. In the art of earthly warfare, my child, a wise general knows that not every battle is won by a constant forward march. Sometimes, the most brilliant and decisive victories are preceded by a strategic retreat. A wise general may feign a retreat to lure an overconfident enemy out of its stronghold and into a vulnerable position. He may pull his forces back to a more defensible, more strategic piece of ground from which to launch a new and more powerful counterattack. He may allow a small, temporary loss of territory for the sake of an ultimate, war-winning victory. So it has been with you, my child, on the battlefield of your soul. And I, your divine commander, have allowed this strategic retreat for a magnificent and a loving purpose. First, my beloved, this setback has served to expose the true enemy. You believed your battle was against the external circumstances, against the people who had wronged you, against the challenges of your life. But the true enemy, the one who has sought your ultimate destruction, has been more subtle. It has been the spirit of pride and of self-reliance within your own heart. In your former season of success, this enemy was hidden, camouflaged by your own achievements. You had begun to believe that your strength was your own, that your wisdom was sufficient, that your success was a product of your own merit. And this pride, my child, this subtle self-reliance, was a far greater danger to your soul than any external trial. For it was a cancer that was slowly, quietly cutting you off from me, your one true source of life and of strength. The great setback you have endured, the painful collapse of your own human kingdom, has been my loving, surgical strike against this true enemy. It has been a severe mercy, a painful demolition of the very fortress of your pride, which has now brought you to a place of beautiful, humble, and life-giving dependence on me alone. The retreat from your worldly success has been a magnificent advance into a deeper, truer, and more secure reality in me. Secondly, my precious one, this strategic retreat has served to move you from a vulnerable position to a position of true and lasting strength, the ground upon which you were standing in your former success, though it may have seemed high, was, in truth, a place of profound vulnerability. It was a ground that was dependent on the shifting opinions of the world, on the fickle nature of your circumstances, on the fragile foundation of your own abilities. But now, in your setback, you have been brought to a new and a lower place, a place of humility, of acknowledged weakness, of a desperate need for me. And I tell you, my child, that this low place is, in the geography of my kingdom, the highest and most defensible ground of all. For it is from this very place of humble dependence that my own power can now flow into your life in a new and an unhindered way. A life that is lived from a place of pride and of self-reliance is a life that is fighting its own battles, but a life that is lived from this new, low, beautiful place of surrender is a life for which I, your God, will now fight. You have retreated from the vulnerable plains of your own effort and have now been repositioned in the unshakable mountain fortress of my own grace. And from this new and magnificent position, we will now launch a counterattack, a comeback, that will be powered not by your strength, but by mine, and whose victory will therefore be absolute and glorious. And finally, my child, this strategic retreat has been a necessary preparation for a new and a greater kind of journey. The path you were on, the path of your own success, was ultimately a limited path, leading to a limited, earthly destination. But the destiny I have for you is an eternal one, a glorious one, a destiny that requires a different kind of strength, a different kind of character than the one you were developing on your old path. This setback has been my way of interrupting your journey towards a lesser destination, so that I might now set your feet upon a new and a higher road, a road that leads to your true, magnificent, and God-given destiny. The very pain of this retreat has been a part of your equipping for this new and more glorious quest. I know this has been painful, my child, to lose the ground you had gained, to experience the shame of a public failure, has been an agony. But I have been with you in every moment, my heart feeling your every pain, my vision always fixed upon the glorious purpose that this painful retreat has been serving. I have not been punishing you. I have been positioning you. I have not been defeating you. I have been preparing you for your greatest victory. So, my beloved, I invite you now to reframe your setback. See it not as your failure, but as my strategy. See it not as a tragic defeat, but as a brilliant and a loving retreat. See it not as the end of your story, but as the masterful plot twist that is now making way for the most glorious, most triumphant, and most a redemptive chapter of all. The purpose of your retreat has been served, and the time for your magnificent, grace-powered, and certain comeback is now at hand. And so, my precious child, having come to understand the magnificent, loving, and divine strategy behind what has felt like your great defeat, having begun to trust that your setback was not a rout, but a sacred and purposeful retreat, the moment you have been longing for, the moment for which this entire painful preparation has been made, has now arrived. The season of your retreat is over. The time of your repositioning is complete. And I, your divine commander, your loving king, I am now giving the order for the advance. The tide of the battle is turning. I want you to listen now with the ears of your spirit, to watch with the eyes of your heart. For the comeback I have promised you is no longer a distant hope. It is a present reality. And its first, glorious, and undeniable signs are now beginning to break forth in your life. Look now, for you will see the first glimmers of a new hope, the first stirrings of a new strength, the first opening of a new and unexpected opportunity, the first sweet taste of a small and beautiful victory. For so long, my child, the momentum of your life has been a backward one. You have felt yourself to be in a constant state of retreat, of losing ground, of being pushed back by the overwhelming forces of your trial. But now, a great and powerful shift is occurring in the unseen realm. The very spiritual current that has been flowing against you is now, by my sovereign command, beginning to reverse its course. The tide is turning. You may not see its full effects in your outward circumstances all at once, for the turning of a great tide begins in the deep, unseen places first, but you will begin to feel it in your own spirit. You will feel a new and holy momentum, a gentle, yet powerful current of my own grace that is now beginning to carry you forward, out of the old, low-lying lands of your defeat and towards the new, high ground of your magnificent comeback, the first and most beautiful sign of this turning tide, my beloved, will be the birth of a new hope within your heart, the old hope you possessed, the hope that was shattered in your setback, was a hope that was likely rooted in your own strength, in your own plans, in a specific, desired outcome, and it proved to be a fragile thing. But the hope that is now being born in you is of an entirely different quality. It is a hope that has been purified by the fires of your disappointment. It is a hope that is no longer placed in a particular outcome, but is now securely, beautifully, unshakably placed in me, in my character, in my goodness, in my power, in my love for you. This new hope is a quiet, resilient, and profound thing. It is a hope that can look upon an uncertain future without fear, for it knows that its future is held in the hands of a good and a sovereign God. You will feel this new hope as a quiet, gentle warmth beginning to spread through your soul, a peaceful expectation of my goodness, a serene confidence in my ultimate victory on your behalf. Cherish this new hope. My child, it is the first beautiful green shoot of your comeback, a sign that new life is now springing forth from the very ground of your former despair. And with this new hope, my child, you will begin to experience the first stirrings of a new and different kind of strength. Your setback has been a profound experience of your own weakness, and it has brought you to a beautiful place of humility and of dependence on me. And it is from this very place that your new strength will now arise. This is not the old, proud, self-reliant strength of your former life. It is the quiet, gentle, yet immensely powerful strength of a soul that knows its true source of power is in you. You will find yourself in a moment of trial, responding not with the old, frantic striving, but with a new and quiet peace. You will find yourself able to extend a grace, a forgiveness to one who has hurt you, a strength that you know is not your own. You will find a new resilience in the face of small disappointments, a new patience in the midst of frustrating circumstances, these small victories of character. My child, these quiet demonstrations of a new, grace-filled strength are the first triumphant skirmishes in your great comeback. They are the undeniable evidence that you are no longer operating from your own depleted resources, but are now beginning to operate from the infinite, all-sufficient resources of my Spirit who dwells within you. And as this inner reality begins to shift, my beloved, you will see its first reflections in your outer world. For I am a God who works in both the seen and the unseen realms. And as the tide turns in your soul, so it will begin to turn in your circumstances. You must look now with eyes of faith for the small, unexpected, and beautiful signs of my favor, of my provision, of my new way being made for you. A door that has been firmly shut may suddenly, inexplicably, crack open. A person who has been an obstacle may have a sudden change of heart. A small and unexpected financial provision may arrive just when you need it most. An opportunity that you believed was lost to you forever may, in a new and unexpected form, present itself once more. Do not despise these small beginnings, my precious one. Do not discount them as mere coincidences. They are my love notes to you. They are the first drops of the coming rain of my blessing. They are the first rays of your new dawn. They are the tangible, beautiful, and glorious evidence that I am indeed a God who delights in comeback stories, and that your own magnificent comeback story has now, most certainly, begun. The tide has turned. My child, the retreat is over, and the glorious, powerful, and grace-filled advance into your new and triumphant future is now underway. And so, my precious child, my valiant warrior, as you begin to feel the magnificent turning of the tide, as you witness the first beautiful signs of your comeback beginning to emerge in the landscape of your life, the invitation now is to become my active and willing partner in this glorious advance. For I am the divine strategist, the one who has designed this magnificent reversal. But the victory is made most manifest, most joyful, when you, my beloved soldier, learn to cooperate with my command, to align your own heart with the new momentum of my spirit. I desire now to guide you in the sacred art of partnering with me in your return. This is a journey that will require you to consciously let go of the heavy burden of your past shame, to trust my new and often surprising strategy for your future, and to step out with a new and courageous faith when I give you the signal to advance. The first and most crucial act of your cooperation, my child, is to lay down, once and for all, the heavy, cumbersome, and utterly useless baggage of your shame over the setback you have endured. The enemy of your soul knows that he can no longer defeat you with the trial itself, for I am with you. And so, his primary weapon against you now is the shame of your past retreat. He will whisper to you that you are a failure, that you are disqualified, that you have lost too much ground to ever truly recover. He will seek to keep you looking backward at the humiliation of your fall, so that you are unable to look forward to the glory of your comeback. And the shame, my beloved, if you continue to carry it, will be a dead weight upon your spirit, slowing your advance, stealing your joy, and hindering the full, free flow of my power in your life. I am calling you now to a divine and holy act of refusal. You must refuse to carry the shame any longer. You must see it for what it is, a lie of the enemy, a weapon designed to keep you from your victory, and you must, by a courageous act of your will, lay it down at my feet. Come to me, my child, with all the painful memories of your setback, with all the feelings of your humiliation, and consciously surrender them into my loving, forgiving, and redeeming hands. Receive my absolution. Receive my declaration of your honor. I do not see you as a failure, my child. I see you as a battle-tested hero. And as you learn to see yourself as I see you, as you choose to believe my report over the enemy's accusations, the heavy weight of your shame will be lifted, and your spirit will be made light, free, and ready for the joyful, swift, and glorious advance that I have planned for you. The second aspect of our partnership, my precious one, is that you must learn to trust my new strategy for your comeback. You may have in your mind an idea of what your return should look like. You may desire to simply reclaim the very same ground you lost, to rebuild the very same life you had before, only stronger. But I am an author who rarely repeats a plotline, a commander who rarely uses the same battle plan twice, and the comeback I have designed for you, my beloved, is not just a return to your former position. It is an advance to a new, higher, and more glorious one. The path I will now lead you on may look very different from the path you were on before. It may be a winding path, a path that leads through unfamiliar territory, a path whose destination you cannot yet see. To partner with me in this comeback requires you to let go of your own blueprints, your own expectations, and to trust my divine and often surprising strategy. It requires a new and a deeper level of faith, a faith that is willing to walk into the unknown with me, a faith that trusts my wisdom, even when it does not understand my ways. Listen for my guidance. My child, it will come not as a detailed map, but as a gentle nudge for your very next step. Be open to new directions, to new possibilities, to a future that may be entirely different from, and infinitely more glorious than, the one you have planned for yourself. Trust me, you're a strategist. I see the whole battlefield. I know the best way forward. And the path I am leading you on is a path that leads not just to a restoration of what was, but to a glorious new reality that will exceed your wildest dreams. And finally, my beloved, as you have laid down your shame and have placed your trust in my new strategy, you are now called to partner with me through your faith-filled action. The comeback will require you to move, to step out, to act. But this is not the old, anxious striving of your former life. It is a new kind of action, a restful action, a powerful cooperation with the new momentum of my spirit. I will not ask you to create the opportunities. I will open the doors when a door opens. My child, you must have the courage to walk through it. I will not ask you to forge the new path. I will clear the way before you. But when the way is clear, you must have the faith to take the next step. This is the beautiful, powerful dance of our partnership in your comeback. My part is to lead, to provide, to empower. Your part is to trust, to follow, to act in faith upon the leading I give you. And as we work together in this beautiful harmony, a magnificent and an unstoppable momentum will begin to build. The small victories will become greater victories. The small opportunities will lead to larger ones. And your life, which was once in a state of sorrowful retreat, will now become a glorious and a powerful advance into the very heart of the magnificent destiny I have always planned for you. So do not be afraid, my child. The setback is over. The comeback has begun. And I, your loving king, your brilliant strategist, your all-powerful reinforcement, am here with you, leading you, guiding you, empowering you. Let go of your shame, trust my plan, and step out in faith. For we are about to engage in a magnificent, joyful, and glorious comeback. A comeback that will not only restore all that you have lost, but will bring you into a new reality of such triumph, of such glory, that it will become an eternal testament to the magnificent, redemptive, and comeback creating power of your God. And so, my precious child, my beloved hero, as you begin to partner with me in this magnificent return, as you learn to walk in the new momentum of my grace, let us now pause and behold the magnificent and profound beauty of the very story that your life is becoming. For you have looked back upon your former life, the life before the great setback, and you have perhaps mourned its loss, believing it to be a better, more successful, more glorious story than the one you are now living. But I am here to utterly transform your perspective. My child, to reveal to you a divine truth about the nature of glory itself, and for the story of your comeback, the story that is being born from the very ashes of your defeat, is destined to be a far more glorious, a far more beautiful, and a far more powerful story than a simple, easy, and unbroken tale of success could have ever been. What you have perceived as your greatest tragedy has, in my hands, become the very catalyst for your greatest glory. The world you live in worships a shallow and a fragile kind of glory. It is the glory of the unbroken record, the flawless performance, the life that seems to have moved from success to success without a single stumble. And while there is a certain human admiration for such things, my child, it is not the kind of glory that resonates in my kingdom. For a victory that has been won without a great battle is a hollow victory. A strength that has never been tested is a fragile strength. And a story that has no conflict, no moment of profound crisis, no great and dramatic reversal. It is a shallow and ultimately forgettable story. It lacks the depth, the character, the magnificent, heart-gripping drama that makes a story truly great. But a comeback story, my beloved, that is a story of a different order altogether. It is a story that speaks of resilience, of redemption, of a power that can bring life from death. It is a story that captures the imagination, that inspires a profound and a lasting hope, that reveals the very character of the God who is its author. The glory of a comeback is infinitely greater than the glory of an easy win, for it is a glory that has been forged in the very fires of defeat, a glory that shines most brightly against the very backdrop of a profound and a hopeless darkness. And this, my child, this magnificent, compelling, and truly glorious comeback story is the very story that your life is now becoming. Consider the hero of your new story, you, the person you were before the setback. In your season of success may have been an admirable person, but the person you are now becoming, the person who has been humbled by defeat, who has been softened by sorrow, who has learned a profound dependence on me, is a far more beautiful, a far more compelling, a far more relatable hero. Your character now possesses a depth, a wisdom, a compassion that it did not have before. The very setback that you believed had ruined you has, in fact, been the very instrument that has made you into a protagonist of such profound and beautiful substance that your story will now have the power to touch the hearts of many. And consider the plot of your new story. My beloved, it is a plot that is now filled with a divine and a beautiful suspense, a holy and a magnificent drama. The world and the enemy of your soul had written you off. They had seen your defeat and had closed the book on your life. But now, in a magnificent and an unexpected plot twist, a new power has entered the scene. A new hope has dawned, and the hero that they believed was vanquished is now beginning to rise, stronger, wiser, more glorious than before. This is a story that will leave them in a state of silent, astonished awe. It is a story that will confound the wisdom of this world. It is a story whose every new chapter will be a magnificent testament to the surprising, redemptive, and comeback-creating power of your God. I, your divine author, I delight in this story. My child, it is my masterpiece, for it is in this very kind of story, the story of a great and glorious comeback, that my own character, my own glory, is most beautifully, most powerfully, most magnificently displayed. My power is made most perfect, not in your strength, but in your weakness. My grace is made most radiant, not in your perfection, but in the beautiful redemption of your failure. And my love is made most manifest, not in your easy success, a success you might have claimed for your own, but in your magnificent, grace-powered comeback from a defeat that you could never have overcome on your own. So let go, my precious one, of any lingering grief for the old, simpler, unbroken story that you have lost. It was a good story for a season, but it was only the prelude. And the new story, this magnificent epic of your setback and your comeback, is a far greater, more glorious, and more eternally significant story. Embrace it. My child, embrace your role as its magnificent, redeemed hero, and walk forward with me in the joyful confidence of knowing that the story of your life is not a tragedy, but a magnificent and a glorious comeback story, a story whose beauty will bring a profound and a lasting glory to me, your loving, faithful, and triumphant author. The glory of this latter house, my beloved, will be far greater than the glory of the former. And so, my cherished child, my magnificent and triumphant hero, as you begin to embrace the profound and glorious beauty of your own comeback story, as you learn to see your past setback not as your shame, but as the very catalyst for your greatest glory, let this final and most magnificent promise become the unshakable foundation of your confidence for all the days to come. The victory I am orchestrating in your life, this beautiful and powerful comeback that is now unfolding, is not a fleeting, temporary reversal that is vulnerable to another future collapse. No, my beloved, the comeback I am giving you is one that leads to a lasting, a permanent, and an irreversible victory. For the new position to which I am restoring you, the new life that I am building for you, is infinitely more secure than the one you have lost. For it is being built upon the magnificent and eternal foundation of your hard-won humility and your beautiful new dependence on me. This, my child, is a victory that can never be reversed. The deepest fear of a soul that has experienced a great setback is that it could happen again. You may carry within you a quiet, anxious dread that another storm, another failure, another betrayal could come and send you tumbling down the mountain once more, erasing all the progress of this new comeback. But I am here to utterly banish that fear from your heart. For you must understand that the very nature of your foundation has been changed. Your first kingdom was built upon the shifting sands of your own strength, your own wisdom, your own pride, and a house built on sand cannot withstand the great storms of life. But the setback, in its painful grace, has demolished that old, faulty structure, and now we are rebuilding upon an entirely different foundation. We are rebuilding upon the unshakable rock of who I am. Your new life is founded upon a beautiful and a profound humility. A humility that was forged in the very fires of your failure. You no longer carry the old, subtle belief that you are the master of your own destiny. You now know, with an unshakable, experiential certainty, that your every breath, your every strength, your every wisdom is a gift of my grace. And this humility, my child, is not a weakness. It is your greatest and most profound strength. For a humble heart is an open heart, a heart that is perpetually connected to me, its infinite source. And a life that is built upon this beautiful foundation of humility is a life that can never be truly overthrown, for its strength is not its own, but mine. And your new life is founded upon a deep and a restful dependence on me. You are no longer trying to be your own provider, your own protector, your own strategist. You have learned to rest in my all-sufficiency, and a soul that is resting in me, my beloved, is the most secure soul in all the universe. Because your new victory is being won not by your power, but by mine. Its outcome is not dependent on your own fluctuating abilities, but on my own unchanging, omnipotent character. The security of your new position is not in your own hands. It is in mine and my hands. My child, are hands that never fail, hands that never let go. This is my promise to you, my beloved. The comeback I am giving you is a lasting one. The victory I am winning for you is an eternal one. The lessons you have learned, the character you have forged, the new foundation of humility and of dependence upon which your life is now built. These are eternal realities, and they have made you into a being who is no longer so vulnerable to the old patterns of defeat. The enemy will not be able to use the same tactics against you again, for you are no longer the same person. You are wiser now. You are stronger now, with a strength that is not your own. And you are more securely founded in me than ever before. Live, then, my child, in the quiet, joyful, and unshakable confidence of this glorious truth. You do not have to live in fear of your future. You do not have to live in dread of another setback, for you are held in the hands of a God who has turned your greatest defeat into your most magnificent victory, and who has now established you in a place of such profound and lasting security that you can never be truly overthrown again. Your story is a comeback story, and its triumphant ending is not a matter of hope, but a matter of divine, unshakable, and glorious certainty. For I am your author, I am your king, I am your victory, and the triumph I give you, my beloved, is a triumph that is lasting, that is secure, and that will be your magnificent, joyful reality for all of your days and for all of eternity. And now, my precious child, the hero of this magnificent comeback story, as you rest in the profound peace and the absolute security of your irreversible victory, let your spirit be completely still. The shame of your past setback has been utterly consumed by the glory of your magnificent return. The fear of a future defeat has been vanquished by the unshakable reality of your new, grace-built foundation. You are no longer defined by your fall, but by the magnificent way that I, your God, have lifted you up. Rest in this triumph. My beloved, it is yours. It is lasting. It is secure. And it is the beautiful, glorious, and eternal testament to the magnificent, comeback creating power of your loving and faithful God.